Welcome to episode 56 of Tools in the Hall. Mostly stuff from Gearwrench came in this week's haul, but we have some stuff from Lisle, Knipex, and CTA that I'm pretty sure you will also find interesting, so let's get right to it. First, we have the newest version of the spill-free funnel from Lisle. This has been on the market for years, but every now and then they have a new iteration of it. This one is 18 pieces. It comes with 5 radiator cap adapters and 6 other adapters, so it fits most makes and models of cars and light trucks. Has angle pieces so you can fit it in difficult to reach areas, and a plug so you can prevent spills. Storage cap for all the pieces that are inside of it so they don't fall out. It's clear, so not only can you see what you got stored in there, but you can also see your fluid levels from a ways away. But it also keeps contaminants out if you have to cover up some fluid that's in there. And a plug, of course, that you put in sticks in the bottom there and makes this truly a spill-free option. If you don't have it in your toolbox yet, you probably want one fairly soon. It's one of these tools that I recommend people buy earlier in their careers because it's something you can get a lot of use out of right away. This is the 4-piece oil filter wrench set from CTA. It comes in the rather substantial base, and each one is a different size. They do have a 4-piece jumbo size version of this same set, as well as a 6-piece version of this set. This is the one that I keep in inventory because it fits most common sizes of oil filters, so this is one we keep on there. And for some dumb reason, it took me too long to put one of these in inventory. And no surprise, ever since I did, it's been a good seller. Just one of those things that, as a retailer, you may know that something's a good idea, but for some reason you just don't, you just don't get it in your inventory. You just don't order them. I see plenty of these in people's toolboxes and carts, and I never, until recently, put them in my inventory. And it's one of those things where I can't tell you why. It's just been the way I've been, and I'm glad I finally figured it out. And this is one of these things that should be just a standard part of any tool retailer's inventory. And since there are different versions, it's not always easy to carry all the versions in inventory at the same time. So a lot of times what I will do is I'll see what I think the most common one is. And as I see what people use in shops, I realize this 4-piece set is fairly common. So it's the one I keep in stock. Glad I've done that. Since I have, then it sells all the time. So I'm constantly trying to replenish my stock, which is what this is for. This is just an individual 19mm wrench from Gearwrench. This is their newer 90-tooth version. They used to have an 84-tooth version that was the standard one that they had for many, many years, since the mid-90s when they first came out with that style wrench. In the past year or two, I think, they upgraded the design to a 90-tooth. The beam is a little bit longer. I think that it has overall been good improvements for them. So when someone has, say, a warranty, I'm just replacing the old 84 tooth with the new 90 tooth. This, though, is not a warranty. This is something needed individually. And the nice thing about Gearwrench stuff is they stock our distributors' warehouses pretty well with what they call open stock, which is individual pieces of something that you might normally find only in a set. So when that one wrench in the set that you bought breaks, I can replace it with the singular item instead of having to take the whole set back and give you a whole new set. If you've ever shopped at Harbor Freight, my understanding is that they have to do that. So if you have a set of sockets and you break one, you got to give them the whole set. And they'll give you a new set in return. It's because they don't keep open stock. And that's because the way they purchase their tools. When they purchase, usually from overseas manufacturers, they're just purchasing socket sets, and they're not going to break up the set to give you the individual out of that, because then they can't sell the remainder of that set. So what they'll do is it's easier for them just to take a whole set back and give you a new set. The downside is if you are missing a socket or two out of the set, they may not honor the warranty. So that's one of the reasons why they're less expensive to purchase from, but may not be the most convenient to deal with in after-sale support. And again, I'm not throwing shade at Harbor Freight. I don't know because I'm not a customer of theirs, but I know that is, in fact, the case with some retailers who don't keep open stock. So that's something else for you to ask when you do your tool shopping and you want to find out what it's going to be like after the sale. One of them is, asking the retailers what their open stock situation is like. And if they don't know what that means, just say, if I have a set of something and I break one, can I get just that one? And it'll let you know the level of convenience or difficulty you might have getting something warranted after the sale. More from Lisle. This is their digital circuit tester. It tests 3 to 49 volts, which is kind of cool, very rangy, and it has a LCD display that lights up red for positive and green for ground and gives you the voltage display on a nice long coiled cord with a singular clamp on it and a rather solid housing to the body of the meter. These are not cheap. They're retailing for about $140. Lisle does put a lifetime warranty on it, however, so at least you're buying some assurance when you spend that kind of money. The reason why I'm putting this on the truck is because I decided a while back I want to try to adjust my pricing a little bit and offer some other products that could compete price-wise. And I was, for a time, carrying the Astro circuit tester, similar features in how it lights up and the LCD display and all the rest of it. But a customer brought to my attention last week that he wanted to return his because he didn't like how it was constructed. Or rather, what he said was, he says it's intermittent. I'm not getting good connection. So I will show you what I found. So let me show you what I found. So this is the Astro one. I am not even a little prepared to show you this, am I? Bear with me. So this is the Astro one, and the part number on this one is 7767. And I'll show, and it's all wrapped up and goofed up and taped because I'm returning it to my vendor. So here's the problem: is that on the clamp here, you can see how they solder the lead to the plate on the bottom of the clamp, and they use one very ineffective, weak dot of solder to connect that wire. Now, there's no stress on the wire because it does have some pretty decent strain relief, but you can't expect that to hold up in the average shop and in it for everyday use. That's going to break, and it did. So I decided to go with Lisle as a heavier duty option. The way they're constructed is a bit different than this. Let me see if I can show you. All right, in this one, notice how the lead, they don't have the same construction here. There is not a wire coming out of the lead that they solder to make contact there. Rather, they have a penetrating tap here, and this is held positively on 3 points of contact. This cannot come out unless you're prying these things off. This is much more solid, much heavier duty, much better built. I would expect that, obviously, for the money, but it shows you the differences you can experience in quality based on how much you pay. And it was something I did not know until the customer talked to me about it. I'm like, well, let's dig into this a little bit and see what's going on. And I'm glad we did. And I'm glad that I was shown that I was carrying a product that that wasn't as durable as the Lisle one. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to carry the Astro anymore, but it gives me something I have to mention to my customers, and that is I wouldn't recommend it for heavy use or maybe, something where if you're doing a lot of electrical diagnostics, it may not be the best one for you because it has a point in it that's weaker than the same point on the Lisle one. So I can allow people to make a choice. And the Astro one costs 3 times less than this one. It has a 1-year warranty. This has a lifetime warranty. I am all about giving people choices in this business, and I can give people a choice with that. So when I talked to my customer about it, who had the Astro one, I said, you tell me what we'd like to do. I said, I'm happy to replace this with the same one, or I'll give you full credit for this, and then I can just sell you this one for the price difference. And he said, no, I'll do this one for the price difference. And that made sense to me. I don't normally like telling people how to spend their money. But in this case, I was glad he said that because I would have influenced him to try to do it anyway, because that's one of the very real differences between brands and between the quality of their product. So I'm glad Lisle has what I think is a stronger product in that particular design. They seem to be a little bit superior, and their product should last much longer and will not have the same point of failure as the Astro one did. Sunex is so awesome. I know, I love them a lot. I often brag about how great Sunex is. This is the Sunex Stubby standard 11-piece wrench set. Why is it so awesome? Because it's one of the only Stubby sets that I know that goes to 1 inch. So smallest size is 3/8, the largest size is 1 inch. If I'm not mistaken, I think the only other one that I know of is a Snap-on one, or maybe Snap-on's Blue Point one also goes to 1 inch. I'm not sure about that. But not many of them do. And this one comes in a nice nylon roll-up pouch with all the sizes displayed on the pouch itself. So it's very easy if you were to lay this flat in your toolbox drawer. Very easy to see what the sizes are. Or if you just want to roll it up and take it with you, very convenient. And they have a nice full polish finish. This is the largest 1 inch size in the set. Lifetime warranty on every one of them. And the prices are, even for a tool truck, ridiculously cheap. I think this set's $70 or something like that. I'm within a few dollars either side, maybe 75. For tool truck pricing on a lifetime warranty set of quality hand tools, you can't complain about that price at all. And I'm constantly surprised at what the price differences are. And I'm not saying this to brag about myself. Yeah, maybe I am bragging about myself. I don't know. When I hear people react to prices that I give them if they're new to shopping on my truck, and I'll give them a price on something like this, or a price on a set of K-tool wrenches, or wrenches that they've seen on other tool trucks that are made by one company and everyone sells them, and they'll be rather surprised, and pleasantly so, at how different some of these prices can be. On another tool truck, if you can find an equally good wrench set for that price, buy it. But I don't think you're going to find it under the Snap-on, Matco, or Mac names. Generally speaking, Sunex prices are much lower than other brands, and I haven't really seen any quality issues with their stuff, especially on Stubby wrenches. It's not like they're long handle wrenches where you're going to be putting a lot of torque on them because you just don't get the leverage. So for something like this, for something like the jumbo wrenches, which have an awful lot of metal in them, so they're going to be a lot stronger than your average wrench, I see very little, if any, breakage at all. I don't know that I've ever replaced any of their Stubby or jumbo wrenches at all under warranty. They simply don't break because you're not being subjected to the forces that you might subject a smaller or weaker or more slender wrench, or something with a longer handle. We can put more leverage on it and risk damaging the head. Mighty Vac is the de facto brand for vacuum tools like brake bleeders and pumps, and they have this hand pump with a gauge and a bunch of different tubes and adapters that you can use for all kinds of applications. It has two 2-foot long hoses that are 1/4 inch in diameter, a rubber cup adapter, universal bleed screw adapters, a vacuum T adapter, automotive test and bleed adapters, and you can see how it all goes together on the back there. The customer who asked me for this, I think he's just got some general use applications for it. I don't know that he has any one particular application in mind, but it's something that he's been missing from his toolbox. So it's the time in his life where he needs one, so he's going to get this next week. Milton is an excellent name for air fittings, for tools and blowers and stuff like that. And they have something that body guys love. They have this little pocket blowgun. This is the simplest thing in the world. You just plug that end into your air hose and air comes out that end. And there's no on-off switch, there's no levers, no nothing. It's just a tube with a pocket clip, so you can always keep it handy. And at the end of the day, like if you're a body man or something and you're sanding and you get Bondo dust all over you, just pop this out of your pocket, plug it in, blow yourself off, and go on about your day. It's you use it to blow vehicles off. Use it in a car if you wanted to, but I don't know many mechanics who own this. Most mechanics own the Traeger pistol grip style blowguns, but this is, God, I got the dropsies. Oh, whew. But this is great for bodymen particularly. The Knipex Twin Grip pliers have been very good sellers since I've been putting these on the truck since a while back. A 5-position slip joint mechanism on the pivot there, and you can see how the jaws are cut. They grab all kinds of things very, very well, including hose clamps and a variety of other objects. I'm trying to get that in focus for you. Come on. Focus. A variety of lots of other objects and different shapes of things. The way the jaws are shaped are great at grabbing square objects, hexagonal objects, round objects. These are a great set of all-round pliers. One of the nicer features on these is how well the jaws are machined. You can see how squared off they are and how tight they are. These are terrific for grabbing damaged screw heads and rivets. And you can grab them either head on here or from the side. If you're familiar with the Van pliers that are made specifically to extract screws, these compete pretty well with those. And these are a little bit less. So with these, you get something that is, I think, a little more versatile for a few bucks less, and you'll find that you'll probably grab these way more than a regular set of pliers. And if you have some extraction duties to do, these might just fit the bill. So I think that overall, great set of pliers. And if you're looking to just build your plier collection, it might be worth considering something like these as one of the first sets of pliers that you put in there, because you can do so much with them. They're so versatile. You get a pair of those and a good pair of needle nose pliers, man, you're starting off right. Just be careful because Knipex is expensive. But the price of these twin grip pliers, I think I've got them on the truck for $53. And as an on-truck price, I think, personally, that's ridiculously low for a good pair of Knipex pliers. When these first came out, I thought they were going to cost 80 or 90 bucks, which to me would have seemed typical. But when I saw the pricing on them, I was very happy because there's something I can feel good about recommending to any technician, regardless of where they are in their career. Yes, they're built better than your regular $15 or $20 pair of pliers. You're going to get a true lifetime use out of them, and they do more than a regular set of pliers. So if you're looking to plier up, consider having one of these be your first purchases. I sell, among other things, tool parts. And if somebody knows exactly the part that he wants, he can ask me for it. And we have a great company that we source parts from called Power Tool Repair. They're based out of Ohio. And not only do we send them tools for repair, but they sell parts for just about everything. So if it's something that you're looking for, contact Power Tool Repair in Ohio. And they're very, very friendly people there. They'll help you out easily. You can do online ordering if you want. They have schematics available for just about every tool there is. And it's very easy then just to add something to your cart based on their schematics, and they'll ship it right out to you. So I'm a big fan of dealing with those guys. They sent me a replacement tube assembly for a Milwaukee M18 grease gun. The customer who's getting this just said to me that he goes, can you get one for me? He said, the other one I had just kind of, he said, disintegrated on me. So I don't know all the details, but he'll get this on Monday. I double dog dare you to get on a tool truck and pick up a set of the Knipex extra small 4-inch Cobra pliers and not break out in a smile because of how cute these are. Yeah, they are. Who's a good little set of pliers? You're a good little set of pliers. They are. And they even talk to you and they say, I am such a good little set of pliers. I love you. These are based on the same design as their other Cobra pliers. They don't have a push button adjustment, but they do have a multi-position adjustment for the pivot. So you can actually open them up fairly wide for a little pair of pliers like that. And the handles on them are surprisingly good to get a lot of leverage, even for someone with bigger hands. Stick these in your pocket. Walk around with them all day long. You might find that you use them for way more than you think. And most guys who buy these look at them, and yes, they break into a smile. And once they cough a couple of times when they find out what the price is, because their Knipex are expensive, they usually buy them. And if someone else is on the truck with them, the other guy will usually ask, what are you going to use them for? And the guys will say, I don't know, I just want them. And come to find, they become something that they just go to all the time. And they're just a great all-around tool to use to grab stuff, turn stuff, twist stuff, pick stuff up with. They're made to a very high standard, like all of Knipex's stuff is, and the price reflects that. Unfortunately, they're a little over $50. I think these 4-inch ones are about the same price as the Twin Grip ones, believe it or not. But they're indispensable, and like all of Knipex's stuff, they have a lifetime warranty on them. When you're dealing with a car that has a broken gas spring for the hood, or a lift gate, or maybe your tool cart lid is wonky, whatever, you'll need the universal lift support clamp from Lisle. They do have these under other brands as well. These just clamp around the rod of that piston. You tighten that down, and it'll prevent the lid or the hood from falling. 2 things. First of all, use this bright green ribbon that comes with it. There's a hole in there. Just screw it under the screw in back here. That way it hangs down so that you don't forget that you put it on a hood and try to slam a hood with this thing on and then wind up breaking things. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, do not over tighten this. The back strap on this is not the thickest thing in the world, and if you crank this down too much, you're going to bend it. You don't need that much force on that screw for this to do its job, so just be careful when you use it. Don't go all ham-fisted on it and crank it down, and attach that ribbon so you don't forget it's there and cause some damage to the car. Find me, if you will, a better value in long-handled 120 position ratchets than the 1/2-inch drive, 24-inch long 120 XP ratchet from Gearwrench. I know what you're saying. Matco has a 30-inch long or 36-inch long, I think maybe now, and Snap-on does too. Yes, they do. But they're about 3 times the cost of this. Almost 3 times the cost. This one costs $119.99. And you can buy one that's 6 inches longer from Matco for $300. And the question is that extra 6 inches worth the $200 price difference? That's a question only you can answer. Just know that both have lifetime warranties. This is the 120 XP design, so there's 120 positions on a 60-tooth gear in this head. There's dual offset pawls, so that's why you get the finer movement in here. So this only has a 3-degree swing arc. The Matco one has their standard 88-tooth head, so it has, I think, a 4 or 5-degree swing arc on it. So in a tight space, you're going to be able to engage a tooth without moving this ratchet as much as you would the Matco one. And something else that's important to test out when you're looking at ratchets is what the back drag is on it. And a lot of people don't consider that nearly as much as they should. And the back drag is as you're ratcheting this down, right? And then you tighten, and then you drag it back, and then you tighten again and drag it back. How tight that back drag is, or how loose that back drag is going to determine when you have to stop using this. Because let's say you're loosening a screw, and if you have really loose back drag, this is going to continue to turn that screw effectively. If it's too tight, then it's going to start turning the screw when it goes back on the ratchet portion of that function, right? So am I explaining this right? So as you ratchet it back, you don't want it turning your workpiece. If you have too heavy a back drag, it's gonna turn that workpiece with you, and all of a sudden you can't use the ratchet anymore because now you're just turning your your bolt or your nut this way and that, right? So now you have to take this off, do it by hand, get a wrench or whatever. So test the back drag on stuff and do a comparison between brands, because it's going to be dramatically different between brands based on the mechanism in their heads. So Snap-ons is going to behave differently than Gearwrench. It's going to behave differently than Mac. If you can do some comparisons, do it. I think you'll be surprised at what you find, and it may very well change your opinion about which ratchet is best for you in your applications and simply what you prefer. Because many times with a tool like a ratchet, it comes down to feel. And a lot of people base their opinions on simply what feels best to them and what they find themselves reaching for consistently. Bolt biter extractor sockets. I've got the master set, which has 28 pieces in it, and I also have one of their smaller 8-piece sets that come on its own rail. Aside from the number of sockets you get, they're the same. Why the bolt biters and not, say, the Irwin extractors that I can show you one of right here, or something like the grip edge sockets that were being made for the Mac RBRT brand, but now they're released under the manufacturer's name of Grip Edge, and they are sold mostly through independent tool dealers like myself, because one of our distributors carries them, but they carry them exclusively, so not everybody can get them. But why do I prefer the Gearwrench bolt biters? Because the price is much, much less than Irwin, and it's much less than Grip Edge. They have some nice features on these that you won't find on other types of extractor sockets. They're rated for impact use. You can use them with a wrench because they have a hex bolster at the base. Use them in a 3/8 or half-inch square drive, depending on the size of the socket, and quarter drive too for the smaller sizes. And you can use a breaker bar, ratchet, any hand tool that you have that'll fit around or in that socket is appropriate for its use. And they have a lifetime warranty, so if they break, no big deal. The nicest feature of these is that they have straight flutes as opposed to spiral flutes, and I'll show you what that is. So here's the Gearwrench one. It's hard to see the fluting because these are black, and I don't have the greatest lighting for that. So what that means is, as opposed to the Irwin ones, which have a spiral flute, and you can see how that fluting inside goes around in a spiral fashion, you can only use this Irwin one to remove a bolt or a nut. You can't use it to tighten. This won't turn to the right, is what I'm saying. Because of the straight flutes in these will turn to the right or the left, which means you can use these on left-handed threads. You can also use these to tighten a bolt or a nut back down if you're in a pinch and don't have a replacement, but still need to get the old one out. You can reuse it if you need to using these. And these are much more expensive, by the way, the Irwin ones. I don't know why they are. This is the master set that goes from standard and metric 3/8 to 19 millimeters with a bunch of sizes in between. This smaller set goes 10 millimeter to 16 millimeter, and they mix metric and standard sizes. For example, there's the 16 millimeter and 5/8 socket is the same socket. Okay, that's this one here. And the one thing that the bolt biters have that others don't have are minus sizes, and I'll show you what that is. If you can see, there's some sizes here. It's tough to see on the picture in the box because of the lighting, but there's like a 7 and a 7 minus, and a 1/4 and a 1/4 minus. If the bolt head is rounded off so much that the regular size doesn't fit, the minus size will because it's slightly smaller. I don't think any other sets have that kind of feature. The one weird deficiency in any of the bolt biter sets is that they don't have a 15 millimeter. I don't know why that is. In fact, one of my viewers pointed that out to me once, and I guess I never really considered it. And then I started looking and I realized, oh my God, he's right. And I don't know why that is, but I've never known it to really be an issue. Maybe the 16 minus fits a 15. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss as to explain that. But I sell plenty of these sets, and no one's ever really complained about it. I think it's more of a curiosity than anything. Lots of different brands have a sensor socket set. This is the Gearwrench one that has 8 different pieces, 3/8 and 1/2-inch drive for all manner of sensors. These sockets are a pretty standard set that you will find under different brands like CTA, Sunex, Lisle, I think, has a set. Lots of different brands have a set. Of all those sets, this is the least expensive one I've ever found. And I think that it's even more expensive if you look at the Mako one, which is the same as any of these others. I don't know if one company is making them for everyone or what, but they're all identical and they're all wildly different in price. This guy's $100 on the truck. When I tell people that, they kind of have to question it, because where they've seen them for $150 and $200 and more, they've seen the same one on other trucks. I keep checking the price because I'm expecting it to go up someday, but I've never known the price on this to be anything different than $100 even. That's what it's always been. So this is the set that always goes back on the truck. Here's a whole set of 90-tooth metric wrenches. These are the ratcheting box end combination wrenches. This set goes from 8mm to 25mm. It comes with a plastic trapezoid shaped wrench rack right in the box. So set that up in your drawer and you're good to go. These are what has replaced, I was telling you earlier, those older 84 tooth Gearwrench designs. So this is now the new standard for Gearwrench. They have a 14-piece standard set as well. For $266, it's tough to beat this deal. On a tool truck anyway, for quality wrenches. And when people need ratcheting combination wrenches, Gearwrench is the name that they associate that with, and it's typically the one they go for. Quality has been proven over the years. They came out with a new 90-tooth design, which seems to be at least as good as the 84s were. So I like the improvement that they made, because they also made that same tooth improvement in their ratchets. They used to have an 84-tooth ratchet, then they came out with the 120 XPs, and then they are phasing out their 84-tooth ratchets in favor of their new 90-tooth ratchets. And those have been performing very well. For some weird reason, I have yet to replace the guts of a 90-tooth ratchet. I have plenty of repair kits for the older 84s, the 90s, and the 120s, and I replace them regularly because stuff breaks regularly, but I have never had to replace a 90-tooth ratchet set yet, and I don't know why that is. As a point of interest, you can take a 84-tooth Gearwrench ratchet repair kit and replace your broken Matco 88-tooth guts with it. They are perfectly interchangeable. If you don't have a Matco guy, or you can set up a return authorization for Matco. If you don't have a Matco guy and do that yourself, you can send them a broken ratchet and they'll send you a new one. But if you have access to Gearwrench stuff, you can just get a repair kit for an 84-tooth ratchet, pop it in your 88-tooth Matco, and you're off and running again. And finally, the one Gearwrench product I probably brag about more than any other is their 114-piece tap and die set. I have done a whole video just on this set. You can check that out if you haven't already. And every time I mention this set, it seems to have a lot of popularity. Some people really like it. A few people have issues with it, but I've never been able to find any substantial reasons why. And if you're one of those folks that doesn't like this set, please tell me in the comments specifically what you found with it that you don't like. Comments like, "It sucks," doesn't help anybody. I want something substantial that's going to help people make a buying decision. I have sold lots of these sets. It is the one that I sell now exclusively, even though I have access to sets from Irwin. I no longer sell them because I do not believe in them as much as I believe in this set. This set has all the jumbo size taps and dies in it. The Irwin set is 117 pieces, but instead of having the jumbo sizes, it has a set of drill bits. I'd rather give people the choice in the taps and dies, and they can buy drill bits separately if they wanted to. And this has much, much nicer tap wrenches than the Irwin set does. The Irwin set has that standard old wrench with the square fitting in the middle and then little handles that you tighten, and then it moves little square pieces to hold your tap. And those are always loose. There's a lot of slop in those mechanisms. They're difficult to to use without having to constantly retighten it. And you have to do hand over hand on those because there's no good way to hold the tap wrench. These tap wrenches eliminate all those problems. They're ratcheting. You put the tap collar or the die holder into the wrench because it's a pass-through design. So there's more material there, easy to palm. You can level it off and start your work in a square and plumb fashion far easier than those Irwin sets. And this one costs way less than the Irwin set. Normally this set's on the truck for usually $450 to $480. Right now it's on sale for $399.99. So if you can find a set this good for that price, buy it. If it's not the Gearwrench brand, I'd love to know which one it is, because I don't know of anyone that competes as effectively with the Gearwrench one. Now, somebody told me once, I think it was in a YouTube comment or maybe it was on a live stream, and somebody said that they broke a Gearwrench tap and they called Gearwrench, and Gearwrench said that they're not covered under warranty, and they pointed them to their website where they read their warranty language, and there was nothing about the tap being covered under a lifetime warranty. This confuses me because I know for a fact that they're covered under a lifetime warranty. I know that because when they break, I send them in and they get a lifetime warranty, and it says right on the box, lifetime warranty. So if there's ever a question about the warranty of a Gearwrench tap and die set, go no further than the language on the box. And if you don't believe me when I say I cover them under warranty regularly, especially the 1024 tap, because that's the one that always breaks, look at the box. It's right on there. And if you ever did have a need to call Gearwrench and have a return authorization set up and they deny it, say it's on the box. Take a picture and send it to them, because they should not be denying you a warranty claim for something which is, in fact, covered under warranty. So maybe the person you're talking to in customer service doesn't have all the information they need. Maybe there was a training issue there. I don't know. But I can tell you for a fact that you are covered when you buy this set for the life of these tools, because when they break, they should be very easy to replace. And if you have a Gearwrench dealer that you work with, or if you bought them online somewhere, whatever retailer sold them to you should be standing behind it. And if not, Gearwrench absolutely should. And if they balk at it, just tell them it's on the box. I don't think it'll do any good to drop my name because they don't know me at all, but I promise you these things are covered. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I hope that you've enjoyed all the tools I've shown you on this one. Maybe I gave you some information you didn't have before. Hopefully it helps you make a buying decision on some brands or some products that maybe you've been thinking about or heard some things about, and this helps guide your decision one way or the other. I hope to be useful to you, and doing these tool hauls is just one of those ways I hope to be of service. Now keep watching the channel, because I have some videos that you haven't seen before that are coming down the line really soon, including the repair of a 1/2-inch Cornwell air impact, which had a very interesting problem, and more tools in the haul videos, as well as the occasional live streams that we're doing on the channel too. So do me a favor and click down here now to subscribe so that you don't miss any of it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, use a tool. Don't be one.